A man steps into an elevator in 1959. The doors close. He looks into a mirror that was not there yesterday. He's not fixing his tie. He's a test subject, and he has no idea. Tenants had started timing their elevator rides with stopwatches, then writing angry letters to management over 10 extra seconds. Owners called engineers. The engineers said no, not without ripping out cables and rebuilding the entire shaft. Nobody had that kind of money. So they didn't fix the elevator. They fixed the person standing in it. Questions that sound simple and turn out not to be are the whole business of the smart side. Psychologists later put a name on what those engineers stumbled into: the occupied time problem. 20 empty seconds feels endless. 20 seconds spent checking your collar disappears completely. Same clock, different brain. Nobody wrote down exactly who gave the order. But somewhere in New York, someone told a crew to bolt mirrors into elevator cabs. And it worked. Complaints dropped. Not because a single elevator moved 1 inch faster, because people stopped counting the seconds. If a sheet of glass can trick your brain into thinking 20 seconds is 10, hit like right now, because this gets stranger. That mirror was hiding 2 more jobs nobody talks about. Job 1, it was saving lives. In the 1970s, disability rights law started forcing building codes to catch up. A wheelchair user, alone in a box the size of a closet, couldn't turn around to see the doors behind them. So codes began requiring mirrors just so they could back out safely. That's not a rumor. It's written into accessibility codes you can look up today, including later guidance under the Americans with Disabilities Act. Job 2, it was making tiny rooms lie to your eyes. Elevator cabs are small on purpose. Steel and floor space cost money. So some cabs are barely 6 feet by 6 feet, smaller than a parking spot. A mirrored wall doubles the visual depth of that box. 6 feet reads as 12. Now, here's the part that sounds almost like a joke once you see the real numbers. A standard elevator moves about 5 feet per second. The fastest elevator on Earth, inside Shanghai Tower, hits roughly 67 feet per second, over 13 times faster. But here's the twist. It barely matters. Most rides, floor to floor, last somewhere between 10 and 30 seconds, no matter which building you're in. 10 to 30 seconds. That's the entire gap engineers were fighting to close. Not minutes. A sliver of time so small most people can't consciously measure it. And they built an entire industry around erasing it anyway. They never made the ride faster. They made you forget you were waiting. And once building owners saw how easily a wait could be reshaped, they didn't stop at mirrors. Floor number displays went in above the doors, something for your eyes to track. Then speakers, playing music, timed to the length of an average ride. Later, screens showing headlines and stock tickers, specifically so your brain had something new every few seconds instead of empty time to sit in. Every one of those is a direct descendant of that same New York decision. If you can't shorten the wait, hijack the attention instead. And it didn't stay in elevators. Engineers now call the whole category perceived wait time versus actual wait time. And once you know the phrase, you start seeing it everywhere. Airports place baggage claim deliberately far from the arrival gate. Not because it's convenient, but because a walking passenger feels like they're making progress, while a standing passenger just stews. Call centers loop-hold music specifically, because dead silence on a phone line feels 3 times longer than it actually is. Some grocery stores hang mirrors directly over the checkout line, for the exact same reason a 1959 elevator got one. Even crosswalk buttons in some cities do nothing mechanically. They just give pedestrians something to press, so the red light feels shorter. None of this was one invention. It was one idea, copied into a dozen industries, because it worked the very first time someone tried it on a bored man in a box. So the next time those doors slide shut and you catch yourself checking your reflection, you're not being vain. You're completing a circuit, an engineer designed on purpose, decades before you were born, in a box 6 feet wide, because he ran the numbers and decided it was easier to redesign your brain than redesign the machine. If this is the kind of thing you like finding out, subscribe. This channel digs up one of these every single week. And the next time an elevator feels like it's taking forever, remember, it isn't. You are. Somebody already solved that problem. They just never told you they had.